British player at the moment, then you're correct, and it doesn't really need pointing out, as I am deeply and painfully aware of that. The Wehrmacht blob continually growing in strength, now veterancy 3, meaning not only do the Grenadiers get elite armor, they also get a health boost, and Volksgrenadiers also, although they do not gain elite armor, but on the other hand they do gain some smaller bonuses for survivability, but nothing major like, say, elite armor. Moving in the Stuart to try and force out the MG team from the building. Noticing that there's a Panzerschreck team moving up, I'm quickly pulling out, since I have no intention of being anywhere near close to Panzerschreck with a tank, and particularly a light tank that's not really built for something like that. Stuart reporting hits, although no actual damage, trying to hold back the oncoming horde of troops that are not seeking cover, which is really a bad idea, and something that really ought to belong only in World War I, and he gets punished for it. Cancer shot shredding numerous grenadiers, some being torn completely to shreds, others lying screaming and left behind as their brethren retreat, with no assistance forthcoming to actually help them. Once more the Stuart moves in to try and force the MG team out. Command truck sitting position up here and securing the northern victory point. Not having much luck with forcing the machine gun team out of the building, and for the most part just causing damage to the actual building itself. Finally causing one kill.
Has made glider troop drops available to us.
But deciding on a slightly more bold tactic, I go for the commando doctrine and prepare to call in a glider for a slightly sneaky operation, with the commandos appearing behind the house, lobbing in a grenade and getting caught out in the open as the blob, with now an extra grenadier team moving in. And an extra Panzerschreck to top that off. Commandos finding themselves under heavy fire and outnumbered greatly are pulling back once more. And I have put in a Cromwell tank as my first unit and pulling back the armor command truck, since I have no intention of losing that, as I lost the field support truck. So I have only a few tanks to hold off this rather large horde of German infantry. The Cromwell causing some losses, canister shot killing, and one grenadier section being almost killed, pulling back. And now I have some infantry moving in to support the Cromwell, and my poor Stuart lies there, brewed up and in flames. Rifle grenades flying along with some PS. Cromwell providing fire support for the British troops on the other bank, causing major casualties, taking out, I think, nope, didn't take out a team, but certainly caused some high losses. The blob has now already been greatly diminished down to only 3 teams out of 5. That's going to be a lot of replacements. And once more many troops lying wounded, screaming for medics and Sanitäter. Moving up the Cromwell now with a commander to aid visual range, having still that one MG team in the building, and he's going to be punished for that quite soon, as the Cromwell lumbers forth and opens fire with its HE shells, killing one member and soon the other. The poor chap falling out the window. Commandos laying down a demolition charge, and some of you may be wondering, why are you doing that? Well, I'm doing it because it's in effect a mine, except I can choose when to detonate said mine, and if the blob was to decide to move in here again, then blowing up a demolition charge right under it can do a lot of damage. So, getting a Cromwell command truck, since at this moment I'm expecting some sort of armor to possibly try and support this, since he's not really having much luck dealing with my Cromwell. And so I figure he might try and go for something a bit heavier like a Panther, and so I want a Firefly out. Nebelwerfer fire raining in, not really hitting much, just leaving a bunch of scorch marks across the courtyard to this suburban neighborhood. Commander seizing the lower fuel point, and a small team of pioneers seizing the northern victory point. Uncontested by me, since most of my forces are concentrated down in the south, as this is where I expect the main thrust of the Germans to arrive. Yet he does not, instead chooses to completely ignore my force and instead try and force a crossing over the bridge. Not really the smartest thing to do, that is, completely ignore any possible enemy force to attack you from the flank, and he's going to get punished for that very soon. When caught out in the open, he finds himself under heavy fire from several infantry sections and a sapper team, while standing out in the open where even elite armor won't do him that much good. A grenade taking out some of the rifle grenadiers, but they don't manage to retreat, as they are taken out finally by perhaps that LMG-42. Although why he went for it I can't entirely say, since in my personal opinion they don't do much. And quickly suffering heavy losses, each grenadier team down to 1 or 2 men. The Volksgrenadiers are not really getting much either, and are suffering heavy losses themselves as well. Once more, numerous wounded and dead lying in the wake of a German attack, and I haven't lost much except an infantry section and a few men. Another Nebelwerfer barrage going off, and another commando team dropping off from the north to try and seize the northern victory point and probably try and mine the area. Command tank moving in to support the first Cromwell, providing some bonuses, while in the meanwhile my opponent is quietly regrouping from the heavy losses. Quite expensive actually, since a grenadier loss is about 35 manpower, I believe, or something nowhere near around that, and he suffered a lot. At the same time he's building something in his Sturmarmory. Shall be interesting to see what this, and I have a Firefly on the way, plus a casualty clearing station, since I rather want to heal my troops and get the most out of them. So for a small munitions cost, it can also heal. And once more the German troops are on the move. He's hasn't moved beyond the 3 grenadiers and 2 Volksgrenadiers, probably because of the high attrition rate among his men, although he's probably going to try and mitigate that by setting up a bunker and upgrading it to a medical bunker. My commander is setting up a demolition charge, hoping to catch some unwary German troops and blow them up, although not really counting on the Germans attacking from the other side. Sten guns firing away, doing some damage, but forced to retreat. Grenade tossed and actually killing a Volksgrenadier who's now lying wounded. And I get the ability that allows me to see what my opponent builds, and so I can see he's gotten a Geschützwagen and a bunker. The Geschützwagen being a converted French half-track mounted with a Pak 40. The courtesy of Major Becker and his Baustab Becker. The units themselves only being part of the 21st Panzer Division. Quite a fun thing really, if you're interested into that. Commandos moving in from the north. Infantry sections moving in from the south. Caught out in the open, but the Grenadiers are too busy moving around and repositioning. They don't manage to get any hits before it's too late. Volksgrenadiers flanking this commandos, but finding themselves greatly wounded by a grenade. A hand grenade, Nebelwerfer fire firing in, taking out a recon section, or part of. Grenadiers holding out, but finding themselves under heavy tank fire and gunfire. Taking some losses, trying to move out. not moving back in fact, but now forced to fall back as there's only one survivor.
NCOs reporting they have destroyed a German
Scratch
gun.
that, no survivors. Medics finally carrying some German wounded, so they won't be left out screaming. But a light machine gun has been dropped, and a lieutenant dashes out to grab this piece of German weaponry and use it as a souvenir. Back at the British headquarters, troops are once more reorganizing and recouping. No, I don't think that's the term, sorry. But I have a small Tetra light tank moving in just to cause a bit of confusion among the German ranks and provide some light tank support. First Geschützwagen not really doing anything and not moving in to support at all. Nebel barrage going off again, firing into where he's last seen anything of mine, and so hopes to cause some losses. Numerous rockets hitting the command tank, but not doing an awful lot of damage, much to the relief of the commander of the